Welcome to Portland Public Schools COVID-19 Case Protocol. It is the expectation that, to the greatest extent possible, all suspected or confirmed cases of COVID-19 or instances of COVID-19 exposure in PPS employees, students, contractors, and visitors to district sites be reported to PPS through the COVID-19 Case Protocol to ensure that precautionary steps can be taken to prevent the spread of the virus. As a supervisor or building administrator, if an adult or student is displaying symptoms as outlined in the daily self-screen checklist, ask them to go home and to contact their healthcare provider. Instances of COVID-19 exposure is defined by the Center for Disease Control as someone who was within 6 feet of an infected person for at least 15 minutes, regardless of whether either person was wearing a mask or other PPE. First, the notification. Presumptive, confirmed case, or potential close contact of COVID-19, individual alerts their direct supervisor. Student or family alerts the school office staff who received the notification immediately notify their direct supervisor. School administrators begin to gather information using the appropriate form. That form can be found here, as well as in the COVID-19 case protocol. This requires the supervisor to talk directly with the individual or administrator and school nurse with the parent or guardian who has the presumptive confirmed case or close contact. Ask the individual or parent or guardian for their consent to share the contact information with the MESD nurse consultant. And the MESD nurse consultant may want to discuss more details directly with the individual in order to determine next steps. Also, school administrator collaborate with the school nurse and health assistant and may request they contact the family to gather additional information. School administrator provides family with options of Multnomah County Student Health Center's information and or advise them to contact their healthcare provider. For direct supervisors, provide the employee information regarding available leave of absence options and advise them to contact their healthcare provider. Contractors are expected to follow their employer's protocols in addition to PPS procedures. Direct supervisors responsible for following the steps in this protocol and communicating with contractor regarding their employer's requirements. Immediately after notification, while continuing to gather information, direct supervisor notifies the school nurse if it's a school-based case and the health services coordinator. School nurse will contact MESD nurse consultant. You do not need to have completed the information form before contacting the health services coordinator. Direct supervisor, health services coordinator, and the nurse consultant, if it's a school-based case, are considered the case team. Review the information gathered and determine if any individuals must be notified by PPS immediately. This decision will be based on MESD's availability for consultation. The direct supervisor, administrator for a school-based case, is responsible for contacting any individuals determined necessary. A standard template is available for reference, though key talking points may vary based on the situation. The Health Services Coordinator informs the MESD nurse consultant communicable disease expert. The MESD nurse consultant begins their investigation and may need to contact the individual or family to gather additional information. Ongoing communication is occurring between the Health Services Coordinator and the MESD nurse consultant. Next, MESD nurse consultant provides written consultation to the direct supervisor, Health Services Coordinator, and the EOC lead. The direct supervisor informs their area senior director and regional superintendent or department leader. MESD nurse consultant. The MESD nurse consultant's written consult may include recommended next steps regarding, but not limited to, communication, cleaning protocols, closures, exclusions of individuals. This communication will either be via phone call or convening a meeting and will be followed up in writing via email. Only individuals identified for risk of exposure will be notified and followed up with by the MESD nurse consultant. EOC lead convenes the EOC team to support next steps if the EOC lead determines that convening the EOC is appropriate. Finally, the EOC lead provides the written consult and recommended next steps with, for an adult case, human resources, risk management, and the presumptive confirmed case directs supervisor. For a student case, they notify the chief of schools, human resources, risk management, school administrator, chief of student support services, and senior director of student success and health. If an outbreak is expected, the EOC lead may immediately notify the superintendent, general counsel, deputy superintendent of business and operations, and school instruction, executive chief of staff, chief of human resources, chief operating officer, and chief of student services. The MESD nurse consultant will work with the Multnomah County Health Department to produce a letter if notification to families or school communities is needed. District communication will be led by the Public Information Officer in consultation with the Multnomah County Health Department, EOC lead, supervisor, and MESD nurse consultant. Building administrator and department lead is responsible for distributing to appropriate individuals and/or department school communities after finalized by Multnomah Education Service District, Multnomah County Health Department, and PPS communications team. If closure of a building is required, it will be the decision of the superintendent or designee in consultation with MESD nurse consultant and the Multnomah County Health Department. Executive Chief of Staff notifies the school board, Chief of Human Resources or designee notifies appropriate labor partners, and Senior Director of Communications and the PIO draft and send community and media communication. The EOC lead may activate the Emergency Operations Center. If a return is necessary, after following the exclusion timeframe provided by the MESD nurse consultant in collaboration with Multnomah County Health Department, students and adults will be allowed to return to school or work. Employees may be out of work longer than the established timeline if they have an approved leave of absence. This concludes the COVID-19 case protocol. Thank you for your time and stay safe.